Hey, this is Nessyp of Nessyp Entertainment. We are back with Miss Erica Janelle. And today is such a special day. It's such a special day. This is the day we have been waiting for quite a while. So,
Yes.
Miss Erica, tell us why this is a special day.
Well, today is the official launch date of my book.
Yay!
Yay! It has been such a process, such a long journey to get it done. I'm super excited. It's now available on Amazon in hardback format as well as ebook. And before I even go there, let me tell you what the title is.
Okay.
It's called Voice of a Victim. Overcoming the generational curse of sexual assault and incest in the family. So it's a lot. It's a mouthful. But it's such a necessary book. It took me a lot of years, a lot of therapy, a lot of author coaching, and a lot of meditation time to get to this place where I was ready to share my story, because I knew that it would help others. But before I get into that, I want to let everybody know that it is available on Amazon in both ebook and hardback format.
Okay.
I'm also with a global distributor. I'm still waiting for them to get the final approvals and everything. It takes forever with them. But it'll be available in retail stores. It'll be available in libraries. It'll be available everywhere with this this global initiative that I'm doing with this other company. So stay tuned for that. But for right now, everybody can purchase it on Amazon. And again, that title is Voice of a Victim, Overcoming the Generational Curse of Sexual Assault and Incest.
Well, Erica, tell us how you came up with the title. I mean, because I can hear the passion in your voice when you even mention that. So how did you come up with the title for that?
Well, for me, the first part, Voice of a Victim, I feel like so many people that have been victims of sexual assault, of domestic violence, of incest, any of these types of taboo type topics, they tend to not use their voice. They tend to hide, or they tend to feel ashamed, so they don't feel comfortable sharing their story. So a lot of people are silenced. So for me, the voice of a victim part of this was to give voice to what most people won't say, or most people that have been through this want to say, but don't feel the strength or the ability to talk about it. So I'm giving voice to those victims by using my story. So I kind of look at myself as the martyr. I put myself out here so that other people can feel comfortable to be able to share their stories. And that's my prayer. My prayer is that they'll be able to do that. And then I want to go with the second part of that title, which is overcoming, because we're no longer just victims. I don't even consider myself a victim. I consider myself an overcomer, because I did not let my journey hinder my progress in life. I took my pain and I birthed my purpose out of my pain. And so I want to focus on overcoming, and then the generational curses of it. For my family, it was a generational thing that had been happening for generations and generations and generations. And nobody ever stood up and did anything about it. People knew about it, but nobody really talked about it, because like I said, it's a topic where you feel so ashamed and you feel so, I don't know, it's just a sense of filth and nastiness that comes from even talking about it. You feel nasty, you feel shameful, you feel like something you did wrong, or it's so many negative connotations with those types of things, because it's such a negative thing to go through, but so many people are going through it. And I realized that the generational curse is able to continue because people are keeping silent. So it's so important for me to put overcoming the generational curse of sexual assault and incest. I want to talk about what people don't talk about. I want to talk about those family secrets where you're at the barbecue with this uncle that molested you, and you got to sit here and look at this person.
Wow.
It happens.
Yeah.
In more families than people would like to admit.
Yeah.
I'm not unique. I look at my situation, my specific story. There's stories about some of the generations before me and some after me that have dealt with some things. My story to me isn't quite as traumatic as others. Others in my family have went through way more trauma than I did. But even then, they were able, my mom especially, she came to me and she was like, I really was supposed to write this book. She's like, but I wasn't strong enough. And she's like, God used you to do it. And that was like the biggest thing that I could have ever, the biggest compliment or the biggest release I could have ever received, because I felt like my family would look at me crazy for talking about it, because nobody wants to talk about it. Everybody wants to act like it doesn't happen. You want to sweep it under the rug. But when my mother, who went through so much, and her story is in my book, and when she came to me and told me what she said to me, that released me. I was like, I don't care what anybody else thinks at this point, because the one person that went through more than most of us have been through was able to give me her, like, co-sign me and say, share your story.
Okay. So do you think with her telling you that, it just kind of just gave you even more courage in order to be able to express that and put that information out? Because you're right, those are some of the things that families keep within the family.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like sometimes when you're growing up and your mother says, what goes on in this house stays in this house. You know, and you are not allowed to express that or tell. And then to me, I think a lot of times if you were to express that, there are family members that won't believe you.
Yes. Well, you have all of those things. All of those scenarios went in my head over and over and over again. And that's why it was so important to have my process of therapy as I was going through this journey, because I needed to be able to, one, open up the layers of stuff that I within myself had buried. There were memories that did not even come to my mind until after I started writing.
Oh.
That I buried. And I was telling my therapist about it, and I was telling her, and she was like, wow. She said, you know, that actually happens, because it's like your brain creates a protective barrier to trauma to where you don't lose your mind. So it's like you will literally forget certain things that have happened to you for the sake of you keeping your sane mentality, like sane. And she's like, to be able to write it, and then you see things that you didn't even realize, you know, you've forgotten about yourself because you buried it so deep. And that's the thing. Like, I feel like my mom giving me that permission, literally beyond myself, I now give her voice, because she could not give a voice. Nobody believed her with her situation, and nobody knew the details or wanted to admit the details. If they did know, they didn't want to admit that this is what happened. But I gave her a voice, and I'll give other people a voice, and another woman a voice, and another woman a voice. And that's what it's about. It's not about me putting all my business in the streets, because anybody that knows me personally knows that I'm a pretty private person.
Okay.
For me to even be a life coach, and for me to even talk about a lot of things, is very outside of my personality. I want to keep it to myself. It ain't nobody's business, but it's bigger than me. And it's bigger than my family. It's so many families, so many people. And there are people that are killing themselves every day because they're burying these, they're holding on to these things, and they're burying these emotions and these feelings, and they're feeling guilty and feeling ashamed to the point where they don't even feel like it's worth living anymore. Or they're going down bad paths into drugs and other things, just trying to cope with the pain. I want to give these people an opportunity to understand you have a voice too, and it's okay to speak your truth. It doesn't matter if everybody likes it. It doesn't matter if everybody's going to be in your corner. As long as you were able to speak your truth, that's what matters. Wow. It's a freedom that comes with that.
Wow. So what kind of, okay, so before, because we want everyone to read the book.
Yes.
I'm waiting for my autographed copy for my book, you know.
Yes.
But for someone that hasn't read the book, and they're going, what advice, other than for us to read the book, what advice would you give them in order to be able to bring some of that forward? I mean, would you recommend therapy? Would you recommend sitting down and just talking to a close friend that you feel comfortable enough to say that? What would you recommend for them to do?
I'm a big proponent of therapy, because I feel like with a friend can only empathize to a certain degree if they haven't experienced it themselves. Okay. And then a lot of times, even if they have, sometimes you're coming from that place of pain. You need somebody that's going to be able to give you a clear vision as to how to articulate and how to sift through all of the emotions that come with the trauma. And not just a regular therapist. When I say a therapist, like one of the ladies that's on my board is a certified trauma therapist. She knows how to dig deep. It's not just basic therapy. I mean, you can start with basic therapy, but sometimes you need trauma therapy.
Okay.
And it's a little bit different. It's a real intense. Trauma therapy is extremely intense. And it's not something that everybody can probably even handle. But I definitely recommend a therapist. I definitely recommend having at least one person that you feel confident to confide in if you can't find a therapist. But I believe that there's things that if the therapist is really skilled in what they're doing, they should be able to help you pull out some of those things. I know for me, when I was writing the book, I mean, I had been going to therapy anyway. That's a part of my regular regimen because I believe in it. I believe in order to be healthy, we have to put our mental health first. Even when things are great in my life, I still go to therapy.
Okay.
I haven't been in a couple of months because my therapist just had a baby. So she's on maternity leave, but she left me in good hands and she gave me a lot of tools that I needed in order to be able to still make it through. So I am a big proponent of therapy, but in the meantime, when you can't necessarily get a therapist, I definitely recommend maybe even finding a support group, like a rape crisis center support group.
Okay.
Something like that, because these are people that have shared your experiences. And the first thing is understanding that you're not alone. So many of us feel like we're the only ones. So that's where the shame comes in, because you're thinking, oh, it's just me that this has happened to. No, this has happened to so many people. And because there's that sense of shame when you're around people that have also been through what you've been through, and you realize, oh my God, it's not just me. I'm not the only person that went through this. I don't have to feel ashamed. Oh my God, I have other sisters, other brothers, other people that have been affected by this just like I have. And I'm surrounding myself with those people. It's a freedom that comes with that. There's an acceptance that comes with that. And that's where your healing process can start to begin. So you've got to be real with yourself and begin to want to open up Pandora's box. We all want to keep Pandora's box closed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nobody wants to open it because it takes guts, it takes strength, it takes tenacity to be able to go through and sift through your pain. People don't want to do the work because it hurts. Nobody wants to hurt.
Yeah.
But you have to realize in order to heal from the hurt, you got to deal with the hurt. You can't ignore it.
Yeah. And also too, we have a tendency to put that a stigma with therapy. You know, no, there's no reason that I don't need any help. There's no reason that I need to go through a therapist, or certain minority groups say that, you know, no, I'm not going to a therapist.
I'm not letting anybody in my business. Again, It goes back to that secretive thing that's been inbred in us for generations. Oh, what goes on in this house stays in this house.
Exactly.
You don't have to be vulnerable, but you have to realize that in order to heal, vulnerability is a requirement. That's not optional. You have to be vulnerable, and I'm saying vulnerable with everybody, but you need to have somebody that you can confide in and know that you're not alone. It's very difficult to talk about, sexual assault is one thing, but when you talk about incest, you talk about family members that did things to you, that touched you inappropriately, that in some cases took your virginity away from you, in some cases that, caused you to be impregnated. When you talk about that, now that's a whole different level. That's not like a stranger off of the street coming and raping me. That's somebody that I'm supposed to be able to trust.
Yeah.
That's somebody I'm supposed to be able to feel comfortable around. And it's a whole different level when you get to that place. And so that's why I want to talk about it, because there's not enough people talking about it, and there's not enough voice given to it. And so the generational curse continues. The silence keeps the perpetrators feeling comfortable to continue to do it.
Yeah.
The silence keeps the people from talking, the family members from talking to one another and coming up with some type of solutions and some type of healing programs as a family, because nobody's talking. So this is meant to start the conversation. Let's start the conversation. Let's start the reaching out to therapists or support groups and finding those resources to help you get through your situation. And that's what my nonprofit is about. We're here to help you find those resources. You're not alone. I'm bearing it all so that other people can feel comfortable to bear it.
I am so proud of you. I really am. So really quickly, can you tell us a little bit about the retreat that you are in the process of planning so that other people, and that would be a really great part of the book. I'm quite sure that, you know, that's going to help with the retreat that you're planning. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Definitely. So my plan is I'm waiting on the government funding from grants to be awarded for this retreat. But my retreat is going to be held in October, and I am going to reach out to battered women's shelters as well as rape crisis centers within the DMV area.
Okay.
And I want to get 75 women, get them in this location, undisclosed location for their safety, where there will be security. We're going to have self-defense classes. We're going to have trauma therapy. We're going to have life coaching. We're going to have yoga and meditation sessions for 2 days. I want to get these 75 women in this one facility, and we're going to do a whole healing for 2 days. A part of that retreat is going to be me giving that book to those ladies. So not only can they take what they learned from the retreat, but they can take that book and it can give them some boldness and some ability to speak their own truth. Wow. So it's my baby. This is something oh my God, I cannot wait to be able to do it. I'm just like, come on, government, I'm ready for this money.
Okay, so is there a for those 75 women, what are the requirements in order to participate in the retreat?
So what I'm doing is I'm dealing with the heads of the rape crisis centers and the battered women's shelters. Okay. They are to tell me the people that they feel are in need of this program the most.
Okay.
Those are the people that they're going to nominate, and then we're going to pull from those people.
Okay.
We're going to get charter buses. We're going to have our own security. It's going to be a undisclosed location. Mm-hmm. It's all female. So I want the women to feel safe, because a lot of people that have been through that trauma are devastated by the presence of men sometimes.
Yeah.
Probably the only people that we may have that will be male will probably be the security.
Okay.
And if I can find all female security that's going to whoop some behind if need be, then I'll get those too.
That is so awesome. So can women volunteer to help you, or do you already have your staff in place that are going to participate in the different classes that you're going to have?
So we're definitely looking for volunteers. And the thing is, with the volunteers, they will all have to sign confidentiality agreements. They will all have to go through training.
Okay.
So that they can know how to manage the behavior, manage the women that are there. These women are traumatized.
Right.
So you have to know how to be trained to handle trauma victims. And anybody that volunteers, I will personally be vetting to see if they're ready.
Wow. This is so exciting. This is just awesome. And again, I am so proud of and just the ideas that you have, the book that you have written. I congratulate you, my sister.
Oh, thank you.
I really do.
Don't make me cry. I'm emotional today because this has been so much therapy. This has been so much author coaching. I had an author coach who was amazing.
Okay.
So if you're watching, she really, really, really helped me so much. Because I wanted to quit so many times. I was just like, this is too much. Like, I don't even want to talk about this stuff myself. But I'm so happy that I was able to do it because, it's not about me. Like, I want us to change this dynamic. I want other families to break this curse. When things were exposed in my family, we actually sat and had a family meeting. And we talked about things that nobody has ever done before. Wow. That was a breakthrough. I'm talking generations way before I was born that had gone through these things. And we all sat and talked. And it was a blessing to be able to have the older and the younger generations come together. And as a family, make a commitment to talk to each other, to make a commitment to have these conversations and these dialogues. And that's what I want for every family that's been a victim of these types of trauma. Because that's when the healing takes place. It's not just with you. It's not just with me. It's when we can do it for the entire family. And then we can teach somebody else that we know of that's been through that. And they can take that information and take it to their family. And then they can take it to their family. and it spreads. We need it to spread like negativity. We need this positivity to spread.
Okay. So what happens to, okay, so you have, and we're not going to call them, I'm not going to call them victims. I'm going to call them survivors.
I call them survivors and victorious. That's who I call them.
Yes.
Overcomers. Yes.
Yes, overcomers. So what happens to those family members? I know I just try to sit here and figure out if you're having a big family meeting and but you're also confronting those family members that participated in all of this.
Mm-hmm.
How do you approach them and to be able to deal with it? Because you have the overcomers and the people that started this process in the first place. How does that work?
Well, I think it depends on every family dynamic is different.
Mm-hmm.
In some instances, I'll speak for my family. In some instances, some of those people are deceased.
Okay.
So it was really the victim being, or the overcomer, being able to take that stance and say, you know what, this is my truth. I may not have been able to speak my truth while this person was alive and well, but I'm speaking my truth now.
Okay.
And it's just being able to get it out. I think for so long, it's the burying. Now, when you're having a family meeting, at least with our family meeting, like I said, the majority of the people that were the perpetrators were not there.
Mm-hmm.
And see, in my situation, why the perpetrator wasn't there, because I went through the legal system. But, and I talk about that in my book, but it's not really for them. It's for it's for the overcomers. It's really for them and for the family members that did not know. Like, say, for instance, if it's a child and the mother that didn't know that the daughter was going through this or the son was going through this.
Right.
You know, it's really to help bring that closeness to them, because there's a lot of potential for people to be very hurt and very damaged because they feel like their family members didn't protect them. But in a lot of cases, the family members had no idea, or they didn't even know how to do anything.
Okay.
You know, it's so many scenarios that it's kind of hard to put it in a box.
Right.
It's really so individualized that the therapy or the help, the coaching that's needed is so individualized for each individual family and each individual person, because the dynamics can be so different. But yes, it's definitely for those people. Now, I do believe that you should confront your person if you are in the position to do so.
Okay. In
my situation, the perpetrators that abused me, I don't have contact with them. One doesn't even live in this country. So I just had to release it within myself. Sometimes it's just like if you have a breakup, sometimes you don't always get that closure. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you have to go get your own closure. You don't get it from the person, you have to go get your closure. Right. And the same thing with this. It may be a situation where you don't get it from that person, but you go get your own closure. And you go get your own voice back and be able to speak your truth, whether it be with them or not. See, my perpetrators, I don't have access to them, which, thank you, Lord, I don't. So my situation may be a little different from somebody else's. But my book, if they ever come across it, they'll know I'm talking about them.
I got you. I really want to express to our audience that although we have been talking about women being the overcomers, I'm quite sure that this book is also geared to the male. Yes. Because they could do that as well, be overcomers.
Oh my God. Because and it's, to me, I feel like that's an even deeper dynamic. Mm-hmm. Men that have gone through sexual assault, because it does something to their identity as a man. It affects their manhood. They begin to feel like they're not even a real man sometimes because of what happens to them. I'm not a man, so I can't speak from a male perspective, but a sexual assault is sexual assault. Right. Incest, it's pain. This is not just for women. Women is my ministry, but if there are men that are still dealing with this issue, I still think they can benefit from this book, because it's really about speaking your truth and breaking through those barriers of silence. And that's when your breakthrough and your victory comes, is when you stop being silent and you speak your voice. The enemy can no longer silence you because you take your voice back, whether male or female. Right. You take your own voice back.
I am so excited. I've been waiting for months now for this book, so I can't wait to read it. You know, everybody out there, please get a copy of this book. I'm quite sure if you can't relate to it, I'm quite sure you know someone that can.
Mm-hmm.
So Miss Erica, thank you so much. And once again, I need the title of the book, where you could go purchase the book, and we're just going to do everything we can to tell everybody, because this is just such an awesome, it's an eye opener. And I can only speak for me personally. I think that this book is an eye opener to be able to help someone heal. And I think that's great.
Yes. So the title again is Voice of a Victim: Overcoming the Generational Curse of Sexual Assault and Incest. It is available right now in ebook and hardback format on Amazon, but I am working with the distributor, the global distributor, where it'll be available everywhere. Bookstores, libraries, you name it, all over the world. So I wanted to reach the globe, because this is not a USA problem. This is not a Maryland, Virginia, DC problem.
Mhm.
This is a universal problem. And I feel like the more people that feel that they're no longer alone in this journey, the more people that will begin to step up and take their own freedom back. And I can't wait. I can't wait to see the lives that are changed. I'm so excited. I thank the Lord every day that He chose me to do it.
This is so awesome.
I'm honored because I'm just me.
Yeah, and you are amazing. As you guys can tell, Erica is a dynamic speaker, and she also does life coaching. So Erica, please tell everyone how to get in touch with you if they want some advice for you, or to be able to just connect with you. How would we get in touch with you?
Definitely. You guys can always reach me at ericajanelle.com. That's ERICAJANELLE.com. That is my life coaching website. Or you can reach me on my nonprofit website, which is wetaketheoath.org or .com. I have both. wetaketheoath.org. That is my life coaching. And that's my nonprofit. If you select the contact us page, you email me, I will be the one that emails you back. So it's not some robot or an assistant. It's actually me that's going to be reaching back out to you. I'm here for you. I also have a YouTube channel, Erica Janelle Life Coaching YouTube. You can always inbox me there or message me there, and I can reach out to you there as well. I will be making sure that I share with Nessyp my link tree, so that you guys can have access to all my information.
Yes, this is just so, okay, so you guys get ready, because the next time, hopefully the next time me and Erica talk, we will be talking about her retreat. It's going to be more finalized by the time we get to talk to each other, and then we can talk to each other afterwards to find out how it went and all that good stuff.
The retreat, also the music, because the album is, I'm still album, so that's coming out as well. So hopefully by the fall. I'm busy, but I love it.
I know you do. Erica, thank you so much. I had been looking forward to this day. And so thank you for letting me have the opportunity to say the book is here. The book is here.
Thank you for sharing my vision and understanding my heart and my passion behind what I do. It's not, this road is not easy. It's not easy to be the face of this. It's not something I even wanted to sign up for, but it's something that God called me to do. And I am so convicted to do it. And I thank you for people like you and for others that understand why this message is so important to get out to the masses.
Yes.
Thank you for having me. I love you so much. You know how I feel about you, Auntie Nessyp.
You know, you're my niece, girl. We got this. Okay, again, this has been Nessyp of Nessyp Entertainment. Look for Erica. Look for her book. She's coming out with music. She's coming out with a retreat. So Erica's going to be all over the place. And if you can't get in touch with Erica, get in touch with me, and I'll get in touch with Erica for you.
Absolutely.
Love you, darling. Bye.